Hello and welcome to Cooking, Comics and Connor, with me, your host, Connor. In these videos, I'm going to try and create a dish inspired by the theme from Callum's How to Read episode. Just a little disclaimer, I'm in no way a master chef, and everything you see me do or any skills I use are still being practiced and worked on. The theme for today's video is the man, the myth, the Scarlet Speedster himself, the Flash. Now, if you don't know who the Flash is, I'd highly recommend going and watching the previous How to Read episode uploaded last week so you can get a rundown on who the Flash is. Now, off the bat, I instantly knew that whatever I made had to be an energy food. You know, the Flash is he's always running, he's got a high metabolism. It has to be something quick, easy and high in energy, and my mind was drawn to the idea of using fish. Before I did any planning though, I made sure I was up to date on my Flash knowledge. So I watched the How to Read episode. In fact, I'm going to rewatch it now, so I'll be back in a flash. I know the joke was bad, but I watched the video and it did help. I still wanted to use fish, but it really showed off the colours that you see within the Flash comics, especially with his rogues gallery, and even from simply the energy they let off once they run. The Flash is so colourful, and I really wanted to capture this within the dish itself, and it really got me thinking about the use of citrus to give it a little bit of a shine, a little bit of a kick. It was also what made me want to add candied peel into the dish as a garnish. The salmon sushi are my little bites of energy. Salmon is packed full of protein as well as omega-3 fatty acids. It's really good for you. The lemon cucumber mayo brings a lot of flavours and textures to the dish. Plus, lemon complements salmon really well. And finally, the candied peels are there to add colour, to really represent the colour we see throughout the Flash. Finally, it's time to get cooking. I start off by making my lemon cucumber mayo. I didn't use any exact measurements for this, as it's really down to what you prefer. I just combined together some mayo, finely sliced cucumber, lemon zest and lemon juice. Every element of this dish is experimental. As I previously mentioned, I'm by no means a master chef. But this was something that I really think came together nicely in the end. Although I wouldn't really add the cucumber if I was to do a second attempt at this dish, as it didn't bring anything to the final product. It was more just something random when it came to the final product and didn't have the same effect I was hoping for. After finishing the mayo, I then got to work on my actual sushi. First up was the salmon. This is pretty simple. We're aiming to get strips of salmon all roughly the same size. A good, sharp knife will help keep the cuts consistent. Salmon is a beautiful fish. Lots of flavour and colour is added to this dish simply through the salmon. Alongside the salmon, I also did the cucumber. Now I won't lie, the footage you're about to see isn't actually the cucumber I used for the sushi. It's the cucumber I used for the lemon mayo. Luckily, it's all the same process. Halve your cucumber, remove all the seeds with a spoon, and then slice into batons. The reason we remove these seeds is because they're full of water and don't really add anything to the dish at all. One of the key aspects of a sushi roll is the rice. Traditionally, sushi rice is a short grain rice, and during my planning phases, I was considering using a short grain brown rice simply because of its extra nutrients. I eventually decided against that, and it was during the cooking process of this rice I came across a department that I really need to put more work into. Rice isn't something I'm good at cooking, nor is it something I cook often. And because of that, I accidentally burnt 2 saucepans. But in the end, I came out with some decent rice that tasted nice, and I had remembered to season with rice vinegar. Finally, the fun bit. Rolling up the sushi. Grab a piece of sushi nori, lay out your rice, add your salmon and cucumber, and roll. I use a little bit of cold tap water just to stick those final bits of sushi nori together. And personally, I think it came out quite good. Some areas were lacking in cucumber, some areas were lacking in salmon, but all in all, it seemed pretty consistent. It looked pretty nice. And now that the sushi's done, it was time to move on to do the candied peel. Now, the candied peel is another aspect of the dish I later decided was unnecessary. It was too sweet, and it overwhelmed the other elements of the dish. But I'll still explain how I did it, simply because it was included in the final design anyway. And it's pretty simple. You slice up some orange peel, lemon peel, boil together equal parts sugar and water, and once they're boiling, add in your peel. Now that all the cooking was done, it was on to the plate design. Originally, I really wanted to use some sort of red chili powder or paprika to make a sort of flash lightning bolt design on the plate. In fact, it was already what I had been drawing up in my book as a design for the plate. Unfortunately, though, that didn't end up happening, and I went for a more simplistic design that showed off all the aspects of the dish. Well, here we are. The dish has been made, my clips have been recorded, and I can say I'm really proud of how it turned out. I mean, not everything was perfect. You know, there was some mistakes along the way. Some things weren't needed, like cucumber in the middle, the candied peel in the end. But I think all in all, it came together really nicely. I even made up some more sushi rolls the next day and dipped them in some soy sauce. This is definitely a dish I will attempt to make again in the future. Thank you to anyone who watched the video to the end. Feel free to leave any advice or constructive criticism in the comments below. As I said before, I am an amateur chef, nowhere near a master chef. So if you want to follow a proper sushi tutorial, I'll leave some guides that I've watched before in the description. Feel free to check them out. I also want to apologise for the late upload. I've been very ill recently and haven't had the energy to edit or record. Other than that, I hope you all have a good week. Make sure to check out Callum's next How to Read episode. And goodbye.